Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Toluola and this is Lifestyle with Toluola. You are welcome. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well and you're doing great. So in my last video I shared about genotypes and we talked about some genotypes that are not very popular, like CC, AC, and SC. And we talked about all the other genotypes that we are familiar with too. And I believe we learned a thing or two, we had fun. And today we'll be talking about something related to everything we've talked about in all the videos I have done currently, from the very first one, second one, third one, and this is the fourth one. I hope you enjoy all of them. Don't forget to subscribe, share and like my videos. So let's get right into it. Today we are discussing about sickle cell and why it is predominant with black people. Now, sickle cell disease affects any ethnic group, but research has shown that black people are usually the greatest numbers affected by this disease. Many black people suffer from sickle cell, and there's been all sorts of research to find out why, and research and history has shown that the sickle cell disease is a disorder and that it comes in the gene and comes and goes, but that it's ticked because it's like an evolutionary trait which the body used to fight malaria. So even today you find out that people with AS genotype rarely have malaria, while people with AA suffer malaria a great deal, especially if you are in Africa, you live in Africa and there's still this problem of mosquito and malaria. So the theory or the research says that the gene kind of mutated to survive malaria. So usually the red blood cell, in our very first video we talked about the red blood cell in details, but I'll just briefly say that the red blood cell is responsible for carrying oxygen all through the body. It gives oxygen and then it takes out what is not necessary, which is carbon dioxide, out of the body. So that red blood cell is normally round. That's the normal shape. It's round. But with people with sickle cell anemia or sickle cell disease, the red blood cell is not round. It's kind of like a sickle. A sickle is like a farm tool. It's shaped abnormally, basically. And so that shape is believed to have come by mutation, which is the body trying to survive the malaria parasite. And yes, if you meet someone that is AS, the AS individual has less malaria outbreak. That's hardly. But if you meet someone that is AA, usually AA is always suffering from malaria every now and then, especially if they are living in Africa. So this is the reason why sickle cell is prevalent in Africa and any other ethnic group that still battles with malaria. The shape of the red blood cells in a sickle cell genotype is also responsible for the crisis the individual has. This is because, like I said earlier, a normal shaped red blood cell is round. For a sufferer or a carrier or someone that has sickle cell disease, his red blood cell is not round. So it is shaped abnormally, and as it moves around to supply oxygen, because of the abnormal shape and the way it is, it encounters problems sometimes where it gets stuck, and when that happens, it clogs the blood cells, and that's what usually causes that pain, that inflammation. I don't know if you've had a sickle cell warrior go through a crisis around you. They begin to feel such intense pain around their joints, and they will, ask to be massaged there to kind of relieve them. So that's what is going on. The red blood cells have gotten stuck probably around those sections, and is hindering blood flow, is causing some obstructions, and the resultant is those pain, that's inflammation. This is what a sickle cell warrior goes through. It is really a painful experience for anybody to watch, and one can only imagine the pain they go through. But now we have all this knowledge, and we've learned one or two things that, yeah, somewhere in our ancestry, in the abnormal shape of the red blood cell developed or mutated to survive the malaria that was back then, when there was no much development in medicine. A lot of people died from malaria. So that is in our ancestry, it's in our genes. That mutation is what caused about that sickle cell with the abnormal shaped red blood cell. In our next video, we'll be talking about something else. There are so many aspects of lifestyle that we can touch. It's not only about health. There's the humanitarian side, which I also love, and we'll do some of that in our next video. Talk about how we can impact lives, and how we can do some nice humanitarian deeds without necessarily having a lot of money, So I would like to see that you watch my next video. So don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and make a comment. Send in your questions.